Welcome back to Movies of the Week. Our goal for this video is to help you guys decide whether or not you want to watch the next 10 movies that we're going to rank on our tier list. So our first movie is Argo. Where would you throw this on the tier list?
Argo, it's a wonderful movie. I would put it in recommend to most.
Okay.
The reason I would put it there is mainly because, I'm not recommending it to everyone. It might speak a little bit too slow for some people. It might, be a little bit too discreet in its storytelling, right? It might be a little bit slow, is all I'm saying. And why I would say it's above recommend to some is just because it's a wonderful movie.
It's a true story, and it's a super interesting story, so I enjoyed it a lot.
The next movie on the list here is Big Hero 6. I would put it in recommend to most.
Interesting. I would put this in recommend to few, just because I don't know a ton of younger people.
Right.
Although the movie isn't just for younger people. Older people can enjoy it as well.
It does have some adult humor in there for sure, and that's why I think adults can enjoy it, I think, just because it's a child's movie doesn't mean it's only for children, right?
Very true.
And so that's why I would put it up in recommend to most. We're going to compromise by putting it in recommend to some.
All right, next on the list is Collateral. This is one of the few movies where Tom Cruise plays a bad guy, and I really enjoyed it. Where would you put this on the tier list?
I would put it up in recommend to most. It's a wonderful movie.
I agree.
Few people that I wouldn't recommend it to are people who might not like seeing Tom Cruise as a bad guy, right? Some people might be, a little bit sensitive to Tom Cruise because he's just that good guy, right? He's a good guy.
Or people who are sensitive to violence, because there's a fair bit of killing in this movie.
But if you're fine to see Tom Cruise as a bad guy, killing people, then this movie is for you. Deepwater Horizon, next here on the list.
I love this movie. It's a true story about an oil rig that explodes. Super, super intense. Most of the movie, you're on the edge of your seat. So I would throw this one in recommend to most.
Yeah, and in recommend to most, we're going to put it, between Argo and Collateral here. It's just a little bit better than Collateral. I'd recommend it to a few more people.
All right, next up on our list is Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. This was a super interesting movie, but I would put it in recommend to some. Where would you put it?
I would also put it in recommend to some. It could be a little slow. It is a true story about John Callahan, and he has a compelling story. The few people I wouldn't recommend it to are people who have struggled with alcohol abuse, because they touch on this, and if that might be sensitive to you, this movie wouldn't be for you, because it's very prominent theme.
And then another good reason, because of the slower storyline sort of aspect.
The next movie on our list is KickAss.
While KickAss was a fun movie, I thought it was super goofy. I think I said it wasn't worth my time in the movie review, so for that reason I put this in recommend to few.
I would also put this one in recommend to few. Just the violence and the goofiness and the poor character development at some points, it doesn't really strike home as being a super solid movie that you'd recommend to everyone. It's very violent and teen focused. If you really like Marvel movies and you're a teen, this is a movie for you.
Next up is Prisoners. This was a great movie. It's about two girls who get kidnapped and a father goes crazy trying to get them back.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, it's his best performance ever in this movie. It's very compelling. I would recommend this one to most people.
I would do the same thing.
You would do the same. Yeah, it's just so good. The only thing might be that it's really violent, right? There's really violent moments, very heart-wrenching to see these children kidnapped.
There's a couple torture scenes, which I would be careful of, but other than that, it was a great movie.
We're putting it at the top because it's just such a good performance from Hugh Jackman. It really carries the movie, and Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't do this movie any disservice either. Now we have Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption is a super famous movie. It's won a ton of awards. It's a bit about prison life. It's one of my top movies ever, so I would put it in recommend to everybody.
I would also put it in recommend to everyone because it's such a lighthearted prison movie. It's not too violent. It's not too much of anything. It's really balanced. It's mellow enough. If you're looking for a really violent prison movie, this isn't the one, but I would recommend this one to everyone because it's just such a good movie. It's a classic.
Next movie up is Triangle of Sadness.
This is a new movie. It came out this year. It's a social commentary on capitalism. It covers a lot of social dynamics We're gonna put it in recommend to some.
And I'd say top of recommend to some. What would you say?
I would tend to agree with you, but I don't think I would recommend it to as many people as Big Hero 6. Yeah, it's just not quite as recommendable and soft and caring as Big Hero 6. It's a good movie.
But I think it's still an important movie for some to watch. It's super creative, just a different way to film things, and I loved it personally.
Finally, on our list, we have Warrior.
I would put Warrior at the top of recommend to most, as I really, really loved it.
I do get that, but there are some very violent scenes in there.
That's true.
With the fighting. They're on par with the prisoners' scenes.
It also has a super heartwarming ending, so that's why we put it in recommend to most. So that does it for our first 10 movies. When we've got another 10 movies in the books, we're going to do another one of these, and we're just going to keep adding to this same tier list, so you guys will see where we rank every movie we end up watching.